Make sure to shake absolutely everyone's hand, but not if they're busy or working or conversing or stressed or tired or anxious or thirsty or hungry. Yeah, definitely don't do it then. Oh, and if you're gonna shake hands, don't shake too hard. That means you work stiff. But definitely don't shake too soft. You gotta establish dominance. You gotta show that you're a man. You gotta earn that respect. Go out there, get noticed, take those opportunities and steal the show. But don't steal it too much. If you're wrestling a veteran, respectfully allow them to put the match together. But don't make them do all the work. Give them some input, let them know what you do. Try to put pieces of the match together if you can. Do not go over your match time. But if you've been around a while, that's cool, man. Great match. A lot of young pro wrestlers spend their early years avoiding the dreaded H word, heat. And an unwritten pro wrestling book of etiquette is generally at the root cause of a lot of this heat. So this episode's all about exactly what is heat, how you can get it, how you can avoid it. And as you can see, there's clearly a lot of contradictions involved. So hopefully I'll clarify a lot of that for you today. So what even is heat? Well, it could be described as someone who's in the doghouse has heat. Someone who's on the naughty list certainly has heat. It's generally when a wrestler, commonly a trainee or someone relatively new to the business who hasn't quite earned their way up the hierarchy, hasn't paid their dues, hasn't earned their respect, breaks an unwritten code of etiquette. Or it could be an expectation that a promoter or a booker or fellow wrestlers have for them. Now, half the time, you won't even know that you have heat because wrestlers can be quite a sensitive bunch at the best of times. And this is the issue I have with the whole concept. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be rules of etiquette. I'm not saying there shouldn't be some kind of backstage protocol to keep harmony and make sure that people are being respectful and being appropriate. Definitely not saying that at all. But I do believe that if there are issues in the locker room, if someone's not quite doing what they should or what's expected of them, a simple conversation would work a whole lot better than unknowingly putting them in this proverbial doghouse. I think as experienced pros, it's kind of our obligation to pull people aside and communicate with them if they're not doing the right things. Let them know to put their head in the game, and that's not how we act around here. But whether you believe that heat is a valid concept or not, or whether you agree with the way it's often handled or mishandled, if it's gonna be a thing, we should probably know how to prevent it. So here are some common rules of etiquette that I've found in my travels. Some you may have been taught already, some you might be learning the hard way. I know I made light of this, but the first one is to, yes, shake hands with everyone. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to scan the entire building and look for every human within a certain vicinity just to avoid getting heat. It has nothing to do with that at all. It's a common courtesy. If someone's nearby, if you walk past someone, say hello, shake hands if it's within COVID protocol in your city. If not, don't do it. Don't get more heat. But just shake hands, introduce yourself, break the ice. If they're a pro wrestler, if they're a girlfriend, a photographer, if you have no idea who they are, it doesn't matter. It's just the cool thing to do. Now, if someone's in a really intense conversation, if you see a couple of wrestlers putting a match together or talking about something, that does not mean you have to walk up and awkwardly hold out your hand and wait. That could do more damage than good. Just be cool, wait your time, wait till they have a moment, say hello, and then carry on with your day. Before a show, try not to take too much ring time, especially if you're not in the main event or not in a really important high up match on the card, and especially if you've already had plenty of time at training or before the show to do so. Just be smart about it. There's a reason why we have a slight pecking order on a pro wrestling card. We're always building up to that main event. It's the most important match on the card. So give them time, use your space wisely, use it efficiently, and then move on. Give someone else a shot. Always try to stick to your match times. There's a reason why you get them, and going over could result in matches later on in the card having their times cut. So just be mindful, be respectful, and try to focus on sticking to that time limit. If you have any major spots, whether they're dives or things outside the ring or weapons or anything that is commonly reserved for bigger or main event matches or blow-offs to storylines, make sure you clear them off with the booker, promoter, or agent, depending on the promotion you're working for and how they structure their backstage production. You know, if we see 3 kendo stick shots earlier in the card and then the peak of this main event is meant to be a big kendo stick shot, obviously it's not going to have the same reaction and the same value as it could have if you were just a little bit more mindful of those bigger spots. If you are wrestling a veteran, yes, let them kind of control the match, but don't be afraid to give a little bit of input. I know that a lot of the experienced pros that I've worked with have always been really appreciative when I've given a few ideas here and there. It just makes their life easier. Always clean up after yourself backstage. I don't care what level you're at. If you see mess, if you see rubbish, chuck it in the bin, do your part. It's not hard, and a little bit of effort goes a long way. Particularly if you're still working your way up the card and trying to earn your spot, absolutely do what you can to help out at the show, whether that's setting up the ring, helping with chairs. Ask the promoter what they need from you. It shows a little bit of initiative, and it shows that you really want to be there and you really want to work hard for that spot. If you want to go to the merch stand and sell your merch, or if you want to go stand in the crowd for a bit, make sure to ask first. Character is still held sacred in a lot of places, so you could rub people the wrong way. So do the right thing, check it off first, and then go make money or whatever you want to do. If you need to change the theme music, try not to do it on the day. Let the production team know well ahead of time if you can. I can tell you, show day is such a massively stressful time for all members of production. The last thing they want to be doing is adjusting your little nu metal theme song for the 12th time that year. Also, try to be aware of what other people on the card are doing, particularly if they have a similar match to you, a match that is very close to yours, or a match that is of a higher importance to the show as a whole. Now, you can watch the screen backstage if there is one. You can just keep your ear to the ground and make sure you're watching before the show when the wrestlers are putting their match together, but just try not to double up on too many things. And a little side note, it's not really a heat thing, but let the commentators and the photographers and the videographers know of any major spots or moments or even story-driven things that you need to get across to the audience. It'll help you as an individual, it'll help you get what you need across, and it also means that they're not left guessing on show day and not really knowing where to be. I know this sounds like a lot, and to be honest, you're not going to get a whole lot of heat for breaking most of them, but they are common things I've found in my travels. And look, communication goes a long way. If you're not sure, always be sure to ask. Now, if you have any other unwritten pro wrestling etiquette rules that you've heard of or you've experienced, please drop them in the comments below. Of course, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date with my future World Beater Wrestling episodes. Now, hopefully this doesn't get me heat.
If you want to see more videos like this, click on the subscribe button, spread the word, and if you have any questions or requests for World Beater Wrestling, don't be afraid to comment below.